I'm saying that would be okay because it wouldn't be discriminatory and it wouldn't be arbitrary.
But who cares about discriminatory when they're not citizens of America? We have a right and a
I
privilege.
do.
Why? Why though?
No,
Let me
no,
ask
no.
you
I said
something.
I do. I said I do. You said
You
who
do,
cares?
yeah,
I
but
do.
why? It is a privilege to become a United States citizen. We are a member of the most exclusive group in the world. We are American citizens. We should be restrictive on who becomes a member of the United States of America. This is the most exclusive club in the world. Everybody wants to be a member. We should be exclusive. We should keep people excluded out of it to make sure
Don't have them.
we're getting only the best of the best.
Yeah, but we don't have people check off a box that says, well, if you're from the wrong country, we're not going to let you in if you're the best of the
But it has
best.
nothing to do with the country. It has to do with their process and procedures for vetting their people.
But that's us. We're the ones who vet people when they come in. It's
No,
not
no, no,
other
no, no. We
countries
don't
that do the
because
vetting. We do the vetting.
no, we don't because CNN just in September of 2016, the article just became more apparent this week. But CNN did an investigation where the Venezuelan an authority with the Venezuelan consulate who processed all of the paperwork said that they had a pay for immigration scheme that CNN investigated and is just coming to light now. So these countries are the ones doing it now. We put the system in place, but they're the ones maintaining it and doing everything that they do according to what we consider our standards. They're not following our standards. So right now, if you do your research, you can research it right now. CNN,
Yeah.
Venezuela. There's a Venezuelan immigration crisis where an authority came out and said that there was a pay for immigration scheme through the Venezuelan government that they're just starting to uncover. And I had it in front of me just a while ago, but you can read about it now. So, is it possible that these things are happening in other countries?
I'm sure that it's possible. I mean, we're talking about corruption, but the fact is that it's still a matter of us not taking care of our responsibilities. What I'm saying is that there is a process by which the United States is supposed to vet people. If we're outsourcing it to other countries, then maybe that's a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, if we're like letting Venezuela and letting, like Uganda or whatever, like handle this process for us, those places are known for corruption.
Okay, so 3 hours ago, Newsmax.com did another article on this. It puts from CNN, Venezuela might be selling passports to terrorists. The Venezuelan embassy in Baghdad, Iraq, allegedly has been selling passports to the highest bidder for several years, including criminals and terrorists who can use them to enter more than 130 nations without a visa. I don't know, guys.
So I think we need to clean up our vetting process. That's what that sounds like.
I agree, but until we do, shouldn't we just ban? See, that's the problem that I don't understand. Why allow it to continue? Is that me? Somebody's got background noise. But why allow it to continue? Why not just stop it right now until we get the systems in place? Why allow it to continue until we get the systems in place? That's what I don't understand, the common sense behind it. But we can go around in circles all day long with this. Right. But it seems that we're all on the same page as far as allowing the vetting to be more intensive. It's just a matter of whether or not we should have a ban right now. And I say yes, and you guys say no, so I'm outnumbered in this one.
I'm not saying. Hang on, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying you can't just arbitrarily say I can't let people in from this country. Venezuela is not on the list, for example.
No, it's not.
Your problem that you run into is if you're going to, and the Venezuela thing kind of proves my point. If you're going to sit there and go to a low-level civil servant in whatever country and throw a briefcase of money on, 99 times out of 100, you're going to get a visa.
As much as 18, in some cases, it was as much as $18,000 for each visa.
Yeah, and you're talking about if you're looking at, a terrorist cell, they usually have 7-8 figures in the bank that they're using to fund all this stuff in. And it's not like you can't be in Syria, walk across the border to Turkey, throw 20 grand at somebody and get a visa. Turkey's not on the list.
That's true.
So you're not really going to stop anything doing it. And that's my whole problem with this whole ban. because your whole point, and I understand it, is that their vetting standards aren't up to ours. My point of view is once they get here, slow them down until we vet them. And if they can't prove who they are, they can't prove what they're here for, because when you apply for a green card, you're supposed to have a process for it. And if you're not, and I'm perfectly fine with Trump coming. Hey, Trump, let me start over here, or let me throw this out to you. Say Trump came out and said, "I'm signing an executive order that if you're a first-time visitor to this country, you can't come back for 90 days until we vet you. But if you're a previous visitor to this country, you're fine. You can come on in like you've been doing because we think you're okay. But if you're a first-time visitor, you can't come back. I'm banning all first-time visitors for the next 90 days." That would have made more sense. No matter what country it is, you can't come back, period, until we get our vetting standards up to code.
Yeah.
To me, that would have made a lot more sense.
Well,
because if somebody's been here for 5 years, they go back and forth every year, they're not going to do anything.
well, we
normally.
don't. Well, I don't know anything about that. I do believe, though, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So in closing, I would really rather be safe than sorry. I would rather cut it all off, get everything up to par, and then open it back up instead of doing it the reverse way and just allow people to come in and out while we're getting them. To me, it just common sense suggests stop it right now. 90 days, get everything up to code, and then start it again. So anyway, we can talk.
Would make more sense than the wall.
Say again?
Would make more sense than that wall.
The other thing that I want to say.
That wall makes a lot of sense to me, bro.
That wall makes 0 sense.
What? Man, look, that wall makes sense, man.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so the other thing that I want to say.
Sean, I know Sean hates that wall, but that wall makes sense to me, man. I love that wall.
We can do that next.
I saw that we're ganging up on you here. I'm not saying shit about the wall. Or I'm not saying
no, don't gang up. You're not ganging up on me, dude. That's the whole purpose of this, brother. I love the idea of that wall.
Okay, so the other thing that I want to say, though, is we shouldn't let in terrorists. If we know that someone's a terrorist, don't let them in. But that aside, the thing is that the terrorist strikes that we have seen in the last several years haven't mostly been coming from, they've almost all been from people who got radicalized while they were within the country that they immigrated to already. So the idea that we're going to spot all the terrorists and keep them from coming in, we're only going to let in the good guys, that just isn't what the history is telling us. What the history tells us is what happens is we vet people pretty well, and then they get into the country, and for various reasons, and we talked about this a little bit last week,
right?
But that then they end up becoming radicalized, and then they become terrorists.
But the truth is, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Because let me tell you something. The whole point is that we are preventing other occurrences. There's only two good things that came out of Obama's administration. Well, there was a few. He literally deported more people than anybody else ever. It was undercover, but he deported more people than anyone else. The second thing that he did, he was able, however he did it, his administration, in the 8 years, we didn't have anything traumatic, disgustingly horrible that happened terrorist-wise on our soil. Now, small incidences, more homegrown terrorism than anything else, but not through lack of trying or lack of stupidity, he was able to. We didn't have any. Not that he was able, but we didn't have any major terrorist activity on our soil. Okay, and one of the other things that I like that he did was he increased the MPG ratings and the EPA standards on automobiles, which I thought was way substandard, and he brought that up to out of the dark ages, so to speak. But I thought his policies were horrible when it came to foreign countries. He willingly overthrew governments, didn't hide it. He willingly funneled money to the opposition parties in Israel to literally get Benjamin Netanyahu out of office, undermining.
Oh God, I wish.
Yes, he did. He sent 178. I'll find it for you. $180,000.
No. I said, oh God, I wish. I meant I wish that Netanyahu was out of there. But anyway.
Why? Well, that's another subject. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay. Either way, we're going to close this segment out. I respectfully disagree with you guys. I believe the wall should be there, and I believe we should have 90-day ban on all travelers to the United States of America, all of them.
Let me ask you this: how high would you want the wall to be?
How high? I want it to be about, I'll take 10-foot high with razor wire, and I would take electronic surveillance through the whole thing. Obviously, electronic surveillance through the whole thing, but I would take our troops and post them along that border. I would have drones, and I'd have roving bands of volunteers tracking down these people who either get through or cut through or climb over the fence. And I would have it done with impunity, where they were deputized and they could hunt down these people, and we would bring them to a centralized location, and then we deport them right back, and then we track them down again, and we bring them right back. And then
you're talking about impunity, like they could just like kill little Mexican kids.
They can't kill them. No, they can't kill them. They would hunt them.
So not impunity.
No murders, no killing. I don't want anybody. Okay. I don't give them that. Now, if they have to defend themselves, that's different. But there have to be rules of engagement. But I would deputize citizens who came and volunteered. I would put our troops along the border, have them do something. Okay, put them on the border, patrol.
Okay.
There's a way. If we don't do a wall, then why not bring our American troops on the border?
How far underground would you want the wall to go?
Oh, no, we have electronic surveillance for that. We'll have electronic surveillance for that. It wouldn't have to go.
I see David over there. He's not into this.
Dave's not into this?
Oh, no, I'm into it. I'm perfectly fine with it. It's just that the wall's not going to work. Because, okay, let me give you a few scenarios.
I mean, I know of some ladders that are taller than 10 feet tall.
I'm not worried about a ladder, but
give me a second.
We need to have deterrence.
Hold up. Give me a second. Okay, first off, most of your illegal immigrants don't come over through the desert. They come in through airplanes. So your wall's not going to be that high. Most of your illegal immigrants are people. Hang on. Hold up.
The same system that you guys are touting, if it's working, we wouldn't have illegal immigration if they're coming on planes.
Hang on. No, I said most. I didn't say all. Okay. That's your first problem. You're looking at about 46% of your immigrants are still going to come through here through other channels. Okay. No matter how high you build a wall, there's still going to be checkpoints. There's still going to be people sneaking into it. Okay. So you can't build a wall too high enough that they can't break it down.
Would it
because you got to look at it this way. The most impressive wall structure in human history is in China.
Yes.
Period. The people that built it lost. People that it was supposed to defend, they got invaded time and time and time again by army after army after army, kind of being invaded from the north. Not like they got invaded from the sea, they got invaded from the land. So, and you're talking about people that the best they could do is a horse. And the Great Wall of China did not work. And the Great Wall of China is going to be more impressive than what Trump was wanting to do. Your other problem that you've got, if you start putting our military out there, you start arming citizens out there, good gosh, you look like a Bond villain, Gil. But
well, we already have armed citizens out there. I'm about to volunteer to go myself.
But the problem that you've got is, what is the news going to do the first time you got? What are you going to do the first time that CNN gets a hold of 20 women and children that are sitting there died in the desert when they first find a mass grave? Because it's happened. They have found bodies in the desert in Texas. They found hundreds of bodies in Arizona. What are you going to do the first time that 10 women are crossing the desert and whenever these rangers pull up and one of these women pull out a gun? Unless there's a drone type video, CNN's going to go nuts.
She gets shot. I don't understand what the problem is. They're on American soil.
Do you remember?
She gets shot.
Okay. I know Sean's younger than I am, and I'm not about to guess your age because you can take me. But do you remember Vietnam by any chance?
I mean, of course, I've read about.
Do you remember how that got changed because you started seeing these, women and children dying, even though these children may have been holding grenades?
No.